Thank you, everyone. And hopefully my voice will hold out. I sound way better today. And, our bodies are machines and they are meant to heal each other, heal themselves. So I have every confidence I'll be good by Thanksgiving. But I did have to reschedule some appointments yesterday and today. But I'm here, and just because this wasn't quite face to face, so I felt comfortable breathing on you guys. So one of the first things I wanted to start out with was when I was asked to teach tonight, and what I was wanting to talk about is our Mary Kay image, and part of that to me it ties into like Thanksgiving because this is my favorite holiday coming up. One of the things that impressed me about Mary Kay when I first was introduced to the company was that it was her favorite holiday as well, and there were so many similarities in her growing up and mine, and I just was drawn to the woman herself, not even knowing if the products were going to work for me yet. But anyway, so I wanted to start off tonight by doing something a little non conventional for our meetings, and so hopefully it's all okay with you. I'm going to have us start with just kind of closing our eyes and clearing our mind, because we have a holiday coming up. We have all these events happening. We have, the checklist in our mind. We have company coming. We have a house to clean, food to cook, blah, blah, blah. There's so much that's like up here, not to mention, if those of you have a full-time job, we have work. So I want everyone to just close their eyes, and I want you to imagine that there is a big pot outside the door where you're sitting. It could be an urn, it could be a pot, it could be a glass vase, or it could be a box, whatever it is you want it to be. And I want you to imagine taking all the things that are in your head right now and putting them in that box or in that vase or in that jar. And you can put a lid on it or not. And when we're all done, you can go back to them. But while we're here today, I want you to just listen from my heart to you and to your heart. And I want us to start off with 3 deep cleansing breaths. So everybody take a deep breath. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. One more time. Inhale, and exhale. All right. Hopefully that helped everybody kind of get into the mood and helped you to have the ability to listen to my heart. And I didn't cough during that. So it's a good sign that I'll be able to get through tonight without coughing during what I'm going to share. I went back to what I learned when I very first came into Mary Kay 33 years ago, almost 34 years ago. And I want to just share for those of you who are new, you don't know me, of you who are not new, this may, be a old story you've heard, just bear with me. Um, I was, I grew up in a very male dominated world, and I grew up a tomboy. And when I say a tomboy, my dad raised me. I didn't own a dress. I wore boots and jeans. My hair was usually in a ponytail and a baseball cap. I didn't wear makeup except mascara, and I didn't wash it off at night. I wore waterproof because I have deep set eyes, and back then it was the pink and green tube, and it would just get down here. So I just wore waterproof, and I would just put more on in the morning. I didn't know the first thing about image. I didn't know the first thing about being feminine. I grew up around men. My had a brother and all boy cousins. I was the only female. I, you know, had a grandma who raised her kids during the Depression and did the same with us, basically. So there wasn't a lot of femininity or attention to appearance, or I mean, I grew up with lava soap, and if you don't know what that is, look it up. It's something that like people in construction or mechanics use to get the grease and stuff off their hands. It's an exfoliant and it's harsh on your skin. And that's what my dad bought because he was in construction. And that was what we had to bathe with. So in the shower, that was what you bathed with. It was all, that's what I used in my hair to wash my hair. And I could sit on my hair when I was little, like it was long. So it was a hot mess. I'll just tell you that now. I look back and think, how did I ever turn out so, so good? Thinking back to where I started from. Um, so if you had a little bit of training, if you had a mom that taught you and my mom passed away when I was born, so she wasn't in my life. And until my dad remarried, I didn't have a mom, and it was my stepmom. I had lots of surrogate moms, and they tried to help give me a little femininity. But I was out romping with the boys and doing construction with my dad and hunting and fishing and camping. And there was, you know, there was a lot of snot rockets. If you know what that is, you can giggle. Um, there was not a big effort put into appearance. So image was a huge thing that I needed to learn. And my very first Mary Kay meeting that I was invited to by my consultant, I was intimidated. Now, I was a confident woman in the fact that whatever I did, like the stuff my dad taught me how to do, what I was going to college for, those things that I knew, and I was very confident because that's my personality. But when it came to femininity and being a woman and entering into the Mary Kay world, I was absolutely not confident at all. And I say that with, from the bottom of my heart. It's true. I was not, kids were mean to me growing up and said, you're so ugly, that's why your mom died. And I believed that story for most of my life. So I just thought, I'm not pretty, but that's okay, I'll be smart. And I didn't let it bug me too much until I got around women who were polished and pretty and feminine, and then it made me very intimidated. So I knew at that very first meeting that the women in Mary Kay intimidated me, and only because I had absolutely no confidence at all as a woman. So I wanted to learn how to be a confident woman like them. After a few meetings that I got invited to, it took me a while to actually say yes to the opportunity. Um, I realized I needed to get polished a little bit, and so I wanted to learn everything. And so I tell you all that just because I went back to how it was when I first came in and didn't know the first thing about makeup, skincare. I was using Ivory soap on my face by the time I joined Mary Kay. I had stepped up from that lava soap to Ivory soap, but that was what I used. And so I've learned a lot, and I am just honored that I was asked to share, this in the training tonight because it became quite important to me. So image, what's the definition of image? Well, it's a general impression that a person or an organization or a product presents to the public. Or it's also a representation of the external form of a person or thing in art. So it's very similar, definitions there. I always look at the opportunity to talk to somebody and work with somebody is, what image would I want to work with? I want to be that person for them because I have high standards, always have, even though I wasn't feminine and wasn't confident. Um, I want to look at it as, what would I want to work with? And I want to be that person for my customers and my potential customers and my potential team members. So the first thing I learned is you got to wear your Mary Kay face and be professionally dressed. And so that was a tough one for me because I didn't wear makeup and I didn't know you were supposed to take your mascara off at night before you went to bed. And I had a lot to learn, a lot, trust me. But I did learn quickly, and I knew that I wanted to be confident like the women that I had seen in Mary Kay. And at those events that I saw, at first they freaked me out. I thought they all dress alike and they're far too happy. I'm not drinking the water. And then as I came back, because my consultant kept bribing me with free product and I was broke, I was, a single mom. I was living in low income housing. I was working 3 part-time jobs, going to school full time. I had no time. I worked with all men. I I was pretty intimidated, but I was also hungry for something more in my life. And so I wanted to learn to be like those women. And I thought, what better place in this safe environment? It always did feel safe to me. It freaked me out at first, but then it didn't. So enough about me. Skirted outfits. That was the one that I didn't own a dress, like I told you. And I was like, I was not going to wear pantyhose. I was not going to wear a dress. And I told my consultant that. And then I felt uncomfortable when I was around the women that were wearing skirted outfits and looked professional and polished. And I thought, okay, maybe I should. Well, I didn't have a lot of money. So I went to the thrift store and I bought a black skirt, a white shirt, and some shoes. And I wore that to every Mary Kay appointment until I could afford to buy some more clothes. So and it got me ready for my red jacket because that is the uniform, is the white blouse, the black skirt, and the red jacket. Or at least it was then. I don't think conform to that as much now, but that was the uniform back then. And I wanted to conform because I'm military. So, I'm all about the uniform. And so anyway, I had heard that Mary Kay had found a study back in the day when the company first began. And she asked us, the sales force, to wear skirted outfits when we did our Mary Kay business. And so I started doing a little research, excuse me. So sorry. Skirted outfits show femininity. And the study showed that skirts favored over pantsuits in the workplace. And the study was done by Today, and like today.com now, but it was, to the Today Show today. When it comes to office fashion, it's better to skirt around the issue. It was what sorry, I'm tripping over my own tongue here. The article talked about. While previous research reportedly suggested that women should dress more like men, a new poll reveals that skirts give a better first impression. And when it comes to office fashion, according to a new study at UK's University of Hertfordshire, pants on women aren't as favored in the office as skirts. While previous research reportedly suggested that they should dress more like men, a new poll reveals that skirts give a better first impression. In the study, 300 participants, males and females aged 14 to 67, were asked to provide snap judgments of images featuring women in various office outfits, skirts, and pantsuits made in the same exact fabric and color with the faces blurred. Then they gave feedback based on 5 factors: confidence, success, trustworthiness, salary, and flexibility. In just 3 seconds, they were able to determine that they far preferred the more feminine options. Women generally have a wider choice of dress style for work than men, but still have to maintain an identity that balances professionalism with attractiveness, and the skirt suit may achieve that balance without appearing provocative, wrote the professor, Karen Pine, who co-led the study. First impressions are formed rapidly and are often highly accurate. Meredith Lepore, editor of Women's Career Site, from the Grindstone, agrees first impressions are everything, and if a woman in a skirt is perceived to be more confident and trustworthy, then you're going to have to work that much harder in your pantsuit doesn't convey those things automatically. While Lepore said there isn't a huge difference between the 2 styles, there is still a difference. And whereas women once thought a more masculine outfit might help them be taken more seriously, wearing a skirt might just signal that she's confident not to have to rely on slacks. For business, Lepore looks to director Christine Lagarde, who wears bright outfits with classic personal touches. Anyway, so that was that article. Then there was another article written by the agencies. Women who wear skirts in the workplace are more likely to make a good impression and get a promotion, according to a new study. Professor Karen Pine, who co-led the research in the University of Hertfordshire, okay, I'm so sorry, I'm butchering that, Hertfordshire, said the results contradicted previous studies that suggested women should dress more like men to succeed in business. Scientists proved that 300, they used a navy blue skirt, suit, and pantsuit. The clothing was identical in every way. So within 3 seconds, like I said before, the trouser-clad sisters were not up to speed. So the results concluded the option where women have to wear such attire creates a competitive advantage within the workplace. So wearing a skirted outfit actually gives you a competitive advantage. And Mary Kay knew that when she heard the first study that she read online. And so she asked us to wear skirted outfits as well. So enough about that. I know it took me a little bit to bite that one off and chew it up. But once I did, it's amazing. The majority of my whole closet are dresses and skirts and blouses and tops, things that can be mixed and matched, and dresses and jackets. And you can dress up an outfit just by putting a blazer on. So get a black blazer. If you don't have one, it'll dress your outfit up and you'll look so much more professional just with a cute top that's a blazer, kind of like a collared one, like our red jackets. The next thing I want to talk about as far as our image is integrity. And I know it's always like, I feel like I'm preaching to the choir because those of you who are on the Zoom have been in, most of you, a really long time, and you have integrity. You get up and you show up, and that's part of being in Mary Kay. So what's the definition of integrity? The quality of being honest and having strong moral principles, moral uprightness, and the state of being whole and undivided. So a person with integrity behaves ethically and does the right thing, even behind closed doors. And I know, like I said, I'm preaching to the choir, but these are things I needed to be reminded of as well. So I'm glad I did the research and kind of looked into it again, just to remind myself. So not pointing fingers at anybody. If anything, I'm pointing them all back at me because I need to be reminded about these things, all these topics as well. So integrity is the cornerstone of a good character. It encompasses all of our 12 character traits. It's the quality of being honest, trustworthy, fair, responsible, and caring, and also having that moral courage to do the right thing. So those 12 are responsibility, respect, thankfulness, caring, perseverance, unity, integrity, service, moral courage, citizenship, fairness, and self-control. And I don't know anyone in Mary Kay who doesn't embody all of those qualities. And that's why I chose to be a part of this company and to, be with women who have the same character traits that I do. Birds of a feather flock together, and we inspire each other with, when we see someone who has an even stronger moral courage than we do, it inspires us to have that as well. And so integrity is so important in our business. Our everyday character is challenged by situations that we face. Our actions and our decisions in handling these circumstances reveal our integrity. Stephen Covey has a book, First Things First, and it refers to a moment of choice and how integrity has to fit quickly between a stimulus and a response. In this pause, an individual has to think about the position that he or she will take. With a good character base, we increase our ability to act quickly with integrity and courage. It takes courage to make choices that may not be popular or understood by others, but that keep your integrity whole. It takes courage to stand strong against peer pressure. It takes courage to live with integrity and to be honest, especially with ourselves, even if you will suffer a consequence. And that consequence is usually minor compared to how you will feel if you don't stay true to yourself. The challenge is to develop the character necessary to act with integrity and courage in the moment of choice. So I love how Stephen Covey breaks that down, because it makes perfect sense when you hear his words. I just know that I am a woman of integrity and always have been. And that's another reason why I was drawn to this company. And I know that that's probably exactly why all of you joined too, is that there was a piece of you and your integrity that was drawn to us as well, because we all have that same strength. The other topic I want to talk about real quick is being a woman of your word. That has to do with integrity. When we tell a customer we're going to do something, we'll do it and we'll get back to them. I know I remember when I was a brand new consultant and I didn't know the answers to like lots and lots of questions. I would make it my mission, because I wanted to know the answer myself, to go and look it up and get back to them. And that's also a good part of customer service, which is part of the reason why after 33 years, I still have some of the same customers that I got in the beginning when I didn't even know what I was doing. But it wasn't necessary for me to know everything for them to trust me and to build loyalty with them and trust, because I got back to them and shared with them the answer that I found out for them, or whatever the question happened to be. So being a woman of your word, if you say you're going to do something, do it. I know that it's really easy to make excuses. I've been guilty of it. It's something I work on a daily basis of, choosing my words correctly so that I am being a woman of my word and not making excuses for things when sometimes the reason is just what the reason is. And it's okay to say that if you need to. I had to reschedule appointments the last couple of days because I got sick, and I could have made excuses, but I was calling them and they could tell that I was sick anyway. So it was okay. They understood and they didn't want to be in my presence at the time, and I selfishly wanted to keep this bug to myself. So it worked out well, but in other circumstances that might not be the case, and you might have to think twice about it. So just always remember to be a woman of your word. Um, on the whole, idea of customer service, one of the things that's helped me to find such success in my Mary Kay business is that I've done the 2+2+2. And for those of you who are new, you may or may not have read that or seen that in your training yet, because I'm pretty sure you're going to see it in your training if you're doing the MK University for new consultants. The 2+2+2 is 2 days after you have gotten together with a customer, say you facial them, or maybe just got together and showed them some products and they bought them. Um, Whatever it is, when you reach out to a customer and you see them 2 days later, you want to reach back out. It's really simple to text now, and for most people, they accept a text in response, and it's sometimes the most convenient way to reach people. Phone calls are always great too, but 2 days later, you want to follow up with them and just say, I hope you're loving your product. There will be times when you get a comment like, oh my gosh, I haven't even tried it yet. It's still in my car, or it's still in my bathroom, or uh, they'll have a question about how to use it. That's why it is so important, because generally it reminds them, oh yeah, I have something new I need to try. And you're wanting their feedback, their honest feedback on how it is working for them. So 2 is the 2 days. Then there's 2 plus 2, 2 weeks. So within 2 weeks, you're going to reach back out again and make sure that their skin is working well with the products, make sure they have the right formula, make sure they're not breaking out. And if they are, you're wanting to let them know that it is common sometimes for, 1 or 2 pimples to show up after you're using a good skincare line if you haven't been using one, and just encourage them to, give it a little more time, and to also remind them that our products have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. So 2 plus 2, 2 days, 2 weeks, and then in 2 months, they're probably running low on their product and they're probably going to need a new one. That is why the company designed our preferred customer program, PCP, with our lookbook that goes out every quarter. And of course, during the holidays, there's another one thrown in there. So don't get confused with that. But basically, every quarter, they're going to get a lookbook from us with our PCP program. And for the price that the company offers this for us, they get their lookbook. I don't have it right next to me, but I got mine in the mail yesterday, I think it was, or maybe Saturday. I don't know. I didn't check my mail for a few days, and it was in today's mail when I grabbed it. But and it's still in my purse in the kitchen. Sorry, I can't show it to you if you haven't seen one yet. But oh wait, hang on. Basically, it's our lookbook for those of you who are new. This isn't one that came out of a mailer, but nope, I don't have one right here, real close. Basically, it's the lookbook, and it's something that comes with a free sample. If you haven't been a customer long enough to actually receive one from your consultant, it's something that you want to use to keep in touch with your customers. Maybe it's a potential customer or a family member, and it might be your way of saying, hey, I started a new business, and here's a lookbook for you to, peruse and browse through and help support my business, in hopes of getting an appointment with them. So 2 plus 2 plus 2, that is cornerstone for having a successful business in Mary Kay, and making those phone calls as well. Another thing is being on time. Something that I fill my days so full that I am on every, my daughter always called me the clock Nazi, because I'm like one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, and to the next, and the camera Nazi, because I'm always taking pictures at our events and whatnot. But being able to be on time does respect other people's time too. And it says that inadvertently. It doesn't say it with words, it says it with action. And for people whose love language is quality time, that's going to speak even more volumes to them, with whether they're your family or whether they're customers or, coworkers. Being on time is really important. We are the face of Mary Kay, and what we do and how we act and what we say are a direct reflection on Mary Kay. And I'll never forget the speech where Mary Kay, was talking about, actually, it wasn't Mary Kay, it was her son, Richard, or he and Mary Kay were in there. Forgive me for not remembering it perfectly. All I remember about the speech that sticks out in my mind is the fact that there's a road that runs by the headquarters in Dallas, and it's called Mary Kay Way. And the Mary Kay Way is how we should all work our business, even though they named the street for that very reason, Mary Kay Way. And they conduct corporate business the Mary Kay Way as well. Our company has the integrity of no other corporation I've ever known. And so, anyway, that was one of the things. And then follow up, I talked about that with 2 plus 2 plus 2, and the preferred customer program. Let's see, golden rule. So Mary Kay has taught golden rule, and I had heard about it before, but I really didn't understand what it was exactly until I came into Mary Kay. I may have heard about it when I was in grade school or something, but in fact, I think the memory came back to me. And then Mary Kay, we talk about it a lot. And the golden rule is simply treat others as you would want to be treated. Everybody has that sign around their neck that says, make me feel special or make me feel important. Everyone has that. And even if you think you don't, you do. I'm just as guilty as anybody on that. Um, Something that has come up throughout the years for me, that requires integrity is that, besides dressing professionally and being polished and, standing, having high standards with, what we say and what we do, and um, under promising and over delivering our products, and our service, um, is that sometimes oftentimes we'll run across orphan customers. So I call them orphans, Mary Kay orphans. And sometimes they are orphans because their consultants stopped selling. Sometimes they retired, or sometimes the consultant wasn't taking really good care of that customer. And so they find you. Sometimes it's convenience. Like, let's say you're at a booth, working a booth, and they just happen to run into you, or, you meet them somewhere and they already have a consultant, um, but you're not quite sure. Always ask. Like, that's a question that I ask every person who says they are interested in Mary Kay products. Do you have a consultant? What's her name? If they can't remember her name, she's not giving them very good customer service. I can promise you that most of my customers, unless they're new, all know my name. And that's because they hear from me often. They get the preferred customer mailing, they get e-cards, they get handwritten notes from me, thanking them for, their orders and being a hostess and birthdays. And so I reach out and touch them in different ways all throughout the year. And so they know my name. So if you run across a customer who is wanting some product, absolutely take care of her needs. Make sure she is happy, make sure she's happy with her products. Maybe she's got something she doesn't really want anymore, can't use, or didn't like, and bought and didn't need, or whatever. You can usually take those back. The company is flexible on that. If she's going to become your customer, I always honor it and take it back and credit them. But I always, always, always refer them back to their consultant, because I want to make sure that I'm doing things the Mary Kay way. And I know, I've had customers, I moved around a lot and was gone and on the East Coast and South Coast and all over before I came back home. And some of my customers found new consultants, and I totally understand convenience. They need to be happy. I was happy that they found someone. Some of them even came back to me when they found out I moved back. They were happy that I came back because they loved me, but they wanted the convenience of having me deliver their products and having them right away, because I always have a full store, in my office. But always refer them back to their original consultant. I know that, when you work with women and you spend time with them and you facial them and you get them on the right products, and they happen to run into someone else and it's like, oh, I just ran out of mascara. Do you happen to have one? If you have it on hand and she needs it right now, you certainly can help her right there, but you always send her back. I know that your consultant, especially if she remembers the consultant's name, would be happy to service you and probably has your product on hand. Now, every circumstance is different, but I always ask the question, do you have a consultant? What is her name? And then after the conversation is over, whatever that conversation entailed, I send them back to their consultant and just say, my job is not to take you away from another consultant who is treating you well. So if you need someone, I'm here for you, but please, be loyal to the consultant that's worked with you through the years. And part of that is getting the dollar signs out of my eyes. I told you I was a single mom. I was working in 3 jobs and living in low income housing. I had no money. I was totally broke when I started Mary Kay, but I needed money. And sometimes those sales can be like, we get dollar signs in our eyes because it's like, we want the sale, we need the sale, we got a power bill to pay, or, we just had a tire, I got to replace the tires on my car, or, whatever. The holidays are coming up, and um, it's easy to let those dollar signs blind us, but don't, and what I found throughout the years is using gratitude. So I'm going to kind of round this out now with talking a little bit more about gratitude. I am so eternally grateful that I was given the opportunity to be in this company. Um, and I have a gratitude journal. Many of you know that I was in an accident many years ago and was told I would never walk again. And it did take me 9 months. And then I had to learn to walk again. But during that time, there was a lot of frustration. I had a lot of dark days. And before it was even, popular, I started a journal. And every day I wrote something I was grateful for. And, I couldn't wash my own hair or comb my own hair, but I could brush my teeth. So that was the first thing I put on there. And I could wipe my own bum. I didn't have to have somebody wipe my bum in the bathroom. I was still capable of doing that. And so it was just those little things that started that journal. And then it became bigger and bigger and bigger. And every day I wrote something I was grateful for down in that journal, just so that I could stay in a positive mindset and heal from my injuries. And again, gratitude. It's amazing how I honestly believe that that gratitude and that positive attitude is the reason why I'm walking today and why I proved all the doctors wrong when they said I would never walk again. Um, Gratitude is so amazing, and that appreciation for this business and our Mary Kay sisters and Mary Kay the woman for starting this company and the amazing products that we have and the friendships that I've gotten from not only my customers but my sister consultants, some that have come and gone. We're still friends, and the relationships that I've gotten. I didn't have female relationships at all before Mary Kay because I didn't like women. I will admit that I did not, but it's because I didn't meet the right women. And I'm so grateful for the women that I have in my life now, all the relationships that I've gotten out of this business. And I just shudder to think where my life would be today. I'm grateful for the beautiful weather we have. I'm grateful for the state I live in now. I'm grateful for my house and my car and, the fact that I got sick and it made me sleep for 3 days so that I really let my body be the machine it needed to be to heal itself. And, and I'm grateful for having a cough because when I don't have one, it was going to feel so good. And when we're truly grateful for what we have, we open ourselves up to so much more. More abundance will flow to you. And one other thing I wanted to mention too that just came to my mind is following the company guidelines. They're for our protection. And that was one thing that I know I didn't totally understand when I first came into Mary Kay. And we've come so far. I came in BC before cell phones, before computers, before credit cards. And we didn't have the internet. So we didn't have the legalese and the classes we have online now. We had a consultant's guide on, and it was paper, and you had to memorize it, front page to back page. Basically, you needed to know everything in there. And now we have so much more interaction with the world with social media. So watch those legal ease videos and legal ease videos. Say that 3 times fast when you can't talk. Learn what you can and cannot do on social media. Don't take it for my word. I'm not even going to tell you what you can and can't do. I want you to go learn it yourself. Don't sell, anywhere but our personal websites. That's one of the biggest things that breaks my heart is I'll have customers say, oh, I bought this product and I got it off of eBay or Amazon or, Etsy. And they're, they're like, I really don't like it. Or, I got it. Something's wrong with it. It smelled funny or, whatever. I've gotten many customers who've done that and they're like, it was cheaper than what you were selling it to me for. And I explained to them that's because I buy my products directly from Mary Kay and sell them to you for suggested retail. The products you're buying online can't be guaranteed and I can't take them back. And the company will not endorse anything that's sold not on our personal websites through an active independent beauty consultant. Well, I don't think active's in there, but I think I threw that word in there. So omit that one, but independent beauty consultants and our personal websites. So make sure you're following that as well. And, just be a woman of your word and follow the golden rule and, treat others as you want to be treated. And if we all did that, the whole world, wouldn't it be a better place to live? I mean, you can all shake your head. Yeah, I know it would be. I know it would be for me anyway. And that's kind of in a nutshell what I wanted to share. You heard a little bit about my story, where I came from, and if Mary Kay can help this and this and this, can help you too. And everyone that you think may or may not need Mary Kay. I'm eternally grateful for it and all of you. And I'm just so happy that you all got on tonight during this holiday season to listen to me train you on something that is very near and dear to my heart. Are there any questions about something I shared?
I just want to affirm you, April. I love hearing from you every single time. And I love that you spoke on this topic in particular because you are our Miss Mary Kay image. Maybe not this last year, but you have been several times in the past. And you always do such a good job of just always being professional, always following your word. Like you said, having integrity, golden rule service. You are all those things. And so there's nobody better to teach on it than you. Um, I wanted to say too that I remember one time when I was a new consultant, teaching a Mary Kay image. It was when we were at the training center, and you had said, what if Mary Kay was sitting in a chair by the door, and as you left, would she be proud of you? And I actually used that this weekend. So I was on my way to Jordan's debut, and I did not want to go. Okay, like, and this is like TMI, but I was just having a bad day, and we all have bad days. And it's like, oh, do I really have to do this? Like, I was excited for her debut, but like I just wasn't in it. I wasn't feeling it. And I didn't want to bring anybody down. And I remember thinking as I was pulling my roller case out of the door and I was dressed up and I had my hair done and I looked cute and I was like, Mary Kay would be proud of me. It's because of the training that you did, and I just really appreciate that. I appreciate that. And it stuck with me. And, and I appreciate you, April. You're beautiful.
Thank you, Heidi. And I'm so glad. Yeah, that's what would Mary Kay do? That's remember the bracelets we used to say, what would Jesus do? WWJD. What would Mary Kay do? That's kind of how I try to look at everything is what would she do? What would she say? I want to emulate her in my life because I admired that and respected that woman so much. Look what she did. Look what one woman did with her heart, believing in us, giving us this opportunity, paying us one of the highest commissions in direct sales. I was talking to somebody at the open house. I think you were standing right there, Heidi, and we were talking with, oh, it's one of my new customers, and Diana Brown, and she's done other direct sales companies. And I was like, well, how much do you make? And she's like, oh, like 15%, 20%. And I was like, wow, I can see why you don't do it anymore. It's a hobby. How do you make money? My Mary Kay pays my bills. That supports me. I'd have to work 3 times as hard. I don't know if I'd want to do that. I'm kind of lazy. I like follow the money trail. I am money motivated. There's no shame in it. I'll admit that. But money buys me choices, and there's nothing wrong with wanting things in life. So I'm honored that I get to work with such women with integrity too, and a company with integrity. And always, yeah, ask what would Mary Kay do? Thank you.
Absolutely. Anybody else have anything you want to say or affirm? There's some stuff in the chat. Everybody loves it. Really appreciate it. And it also goes back to the April Sunshines Challenge when I decided that I was going to actually treat my business like a business. That was part of it, was the image, like getting up and getting cute and just doing the things, listening to the hotline, making follow-up customer calls, and just doing what you could do during COVID, that you had control over. And it all goes back to this all the time, regardless of whether we have COVID in amongst us or not.
I have a question to ask you, Heidi.
Yeah.
So even though you were having a rotten day and you put on a smile and you put on your Mary Kay face and you put on your Mary Kay wardrobe and you got your cases ready and you got yourself ready. And even though you weren't in the best frame of mind to go, when you got done with that, how did you feel?
Oh, I felt like $1 million. And actually, I felt like $1 million the second I walked in her door. It was like I was greeted. I was wearing a dress. I was treated like I was a professional. All of her family and friends were there, and they were so excited to see me. And it makes all the difference when we show up for ourselves. Really, is what we're doing. We're showing up for ourselves.
Yeah, sometimes we just have to push through. And like I said, it's easy to make excuses. I've been coughing and sneezing for 3 days and 4 days and snotty and I don't like to take meds. So I like natural methods and I like my body to heal itself naturally if possible. And so I sometimes take a little longer to be sound worthy in people's presence without snotting and blowing. And yet I'm here and
Um,
I didn't have a voice that would be different, but I told Heidi, or I told Denise, if I have a voice, I'll be here. I'll do it. But yesterday morning I didn't have a voice, so I wasn't quite sure. And yeah, it's funny. I have one more thing I'm going to add too. It reminded me when I remember when I was putting in landscaping in the backyard of my house in Eagle, and I always wear a dress. Like even if it's a summer dress, like I always have on a skirt, even if it's just a casual skirt and a t-shirt, with a little jewelry. I just always wear dresses anymore, or I love it, or shorts and flip-flops in the summer too when I'm home. But I remember going to Home Depot and needing to get, a bunch of bags of topsoil and some bricks and stuff that was like heavy. And I was getting help from people there. And there was a lady who asked me, would you like me to help you with that? Here, let me load your cart. I had the big flatbed, the woman, because I was in a dress and flip-flops. I was wearing flip-flop, but I still had on a skirt. She's like, here, let me load that for you. You do get so much of a different response from people when you're wearing a dress. It's just crazy. And I pay attention to that because there are days when I run into Home Depot and I'm in shorts and a tank top and flip-flops and I don't get the same results from the service from the people there. So it really does make a difference in how people treat you.
It really does. I remember you telling us that story before, and I take note when I wear a dress, and I get the door held open for me way more often when I wear a dress than if I'm just wearing jeans and a t-shirt, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for such a great training, April.
Welcome. Did you set up a closing? I did if you didn't.
I didn't. Do you have one?
I don't, but MJ has volunteered to help me tonight by having a positive closing for us or inspirational
Yay.
closing.
I like the
Awesome.
way
Thank you,
she says
MJ.
that. I didn't volunteer, I was recruited,
I
to which
asked and
I
you said
happily
yes.
said yes. So when I got home in April, I pulled out a book called Attitudes of Gratitude, How to Give and Receive Joy Every Day of Your Life. And one that I liked, very brief, on gratitude cures perfectionism. A point worth pondering. Upon completing the universe, the great creator pronounced it very good, not perfect.
I
Awesome.
love that.
You
I
are
have
perfect
issues
just
with
how you are.
perfectionism, which I know a lot of us do, but anyway, very
Yeah.
good is good enough.
Yeah, and you are enough. Just like I shared last week, you are
That
enough.
was great last week. Thank you.
I did put it, for those of you who didn't see it, it is posted on the Inspired Angel, Future Inspired Facebook page. So
I loved the way it was printed out.
yeah,
It was really attractive.
it spoke to me. So I'm glad everyone else got something from it too, because we can get inside our own head sometimes about whether we're good enough, and we are, and that's something we work on a daily basis. I mean, I do. I shouldn't generalize. I work on a daily basis, is knowing that I'm good enough, and I didn't always feel that way. So
I have one other thing real quick, and this is very personal to Cambry. Could you write down my phone number and reach out to me? It's 208-761-6574. One of my besties since 7th grade was married to a Lauer, and I just wanted to talk to you and see if there's a connection. So that's it.
We'll reach out. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Well, good luck to all of you who have Pink Weekend sales going on this weekend. I know Mary is doing her open house, and on the lines of perfection, Mary and I were just talking about how we're doing things this weekend, even if it's not perfect. We're going to go live in our customer groups and just put ourselves out there. And it's terrifying, but we're going to do it. We're so excited.
fear and excitement have the same symptoms. Choose the word excited instead.
Exactly. We are excited. And have a happy Thanksgiving, you guys, and just a wonderful holiday. Be safe.
Happy
Gobble
Thanksgiving.
till you wobble.
Wobble till you wobble. I love that.
Happy
Bye,
Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Night.
Bye.
Bye.
That's what I was